Hi guys, it's Destiny and I'm here with a video, and this video is to discuss the recent shooting death of 21-year-old Chavis Carter. And the shooting took place in Jonesboro, Arkansas, which is about 2.5 hours north of Little Rock. Now, I refuse to go along with the Jonesboro Police Department and call this a suicide, but I also can't go out there and say it's a murder, because we don't have any hard evidence to say that 100% sure and emphatically that it's a murder. But something don't smell right about the situation. So if you are unaware or aware and just want to know what's going through this mind of mine, we're going to talk about Chavis Carter. Now, he was pulled over and detained in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and he was detained because he had a failure to appear in court on unrelated drug charges. But on his person, they did find marijuana in empty baggies. So we know that they had justifiable cause of pulling him over, detaining him, arresting him, and placing him in the back of a police car. That part we know it was justifiable. But here's where it gets hazy. And I say they because it was two officers. There were two officers, and my understanding is they were in two separate squad cars. So you have two officers. So apparently the officer called for backup for whatever reason, but he did. And Chavis Carter was searched twice. He was double handcuffed. And what that means, well, I'm sorry, not double handcuffed, but the handcuffs that were used had double locks. So that means that it's very, very hard for you to pick the lock or somehow wiggle out of it. They say that that's almost impossible. So we know that he was handcuffed with a double lock handcuff. He was searched twice, placed in the back of the police car, but I'd like to remind you or let you know that he was handcuffed behind his back. So the traditional handcuff behind the back. He was not handcuffed in front of his body. So we know that he was first twice handcuffed behind his back with these extra special handcuffs that you can't pick, and he was placed in the back of the police car. Now, those police then say this is where it went wrong, that Chavis Carter somehow wiggled around, found a gun that he had concealed, and which was a .380, and shot himself in his right temple. So here's where I have a problem with this story. You tell me how, while handcuffed behind your back, you can find a gun. No, let's go farther back than that. I can understand if you hit a razor, or if maybe even you hit a cell phone or drugs and tucked it in your butt, because ultimately that's the only place you could have got it from his rear end, from the crack of his tail. That's the only place he could have got it from. It's not like they didn't check his pockets. That's the only place that that man would have had a gun, is if it was tucked in his butt. Now, I know my guns, and I don't see no .380 just disappearing up in nobody's butt and you not at least feel the handle or the barrel. I know my guns. So I'm not buying that. You searched him twice, and you're going to tell me that you missed a gun twice? Okay, let's go with you missed a gun. Let's play devil's advocate. Let's look at both sides of the situation. You know, that's how I like to do things. Let's look at both sides of the situation. So let's say he had concealed a gun in his butt. So he pulls the gun out. Now, behind him, he has retrieved a .380. Now I need you to explain to me how he was able to then manipulate his body in a way that he could shoot himself in the right temple. Now on your screen, it may look as though I'm pointing at my left temple, but this is my right temple. So how would I manipulate my body to shoot myself in the right temple? Even holding the gun in either hand, I ain't even spinning around, and I know that I'm not anywhere the size of that young man. They've shown pictures. I'm not saying that, I'm not just guessing this. They've shown pictures of his body stature, of his size, his weight. There ain't no way. Let's devil's advocate this on in. So he manages to spin around and shoot himself in the temple. Another problem. See, when people give extra details, they say that that's the telltale sign of a lie. When you give unnecessary details, or you say some things and you're trying to make this look believable and it ends up just smelling like a lie. Here's the officer's detail to me that smells like a lie. They said that he was handcuffed, placed in the car, and moments later, they heard a thumping sound. What gunshot do you know sounds like a thump? I'll wait. I don't know of any. I don't know of any gunshots that sound like a thump. They said they heard a thumping sound. They went to the police car and then found Chavis slumped over forward in his lap. So now you've manipulated your body and done all these things to get to your temple, because a weed charge is that bad where you got to get out of this thing. Mind you, you've had weed charges before, but you just had to commit suicide on this particular charge. I'm not here for it. You shoot yourself in the temple. Naturally, you would fall to the side. But they chose to include the little detail saying that he fell forward in his lap. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. It smells funny and I'm not buying it. But see, here's the thing. You have squeaky clean cops that you can trust, and then you have dirty cops that you can't. And they say that the officers, these particular officers, are known of having racial, I guess, affiliations with racially motivated, what is it? How would you describe that? Like not the KKK, because that's like extreme, but extremists. They had extreme people that spoke on their character, said that they were known to have an extremist type view when it came to racially sensitive subjects, including black people. So I don't want to leave that out. That's something that matters. So the gunshot wound was to his right temple. His mom said, my baby is left-handed. So let's switch situations. So you switch the gun to you have it in your left hand. Now you really are doing some serious acrobatics to use your left hand to get around the full length of the back side of your body and to your temple. Man, that's not happening. That is not happening, and I'm not buying it. I am not buying it. You couldn't pay me to buy it. And you know who else doesn't buy it? The FBI. The FBI, the Jonesboro FBI, or it may even have been the Little Rock FBI, but someone within the Jonesboro, Little Rock area from the Federal Bureau of Investigations has come in to investigate this particular shooting because it just doesn't look right. So I don't know what they're going to come up with and what kind of story they're going to make up. They say that there is supporting interviews from witnesses. Where did you get witnesses from other than people that may have been driving by? I'm not here for it. But witnesses supposedly corroborate the officer's story. The dash cams corroborate the officer's story. I'm not really here for that either. But I just would have to see the dash cams to see if that even makes sense. But he also called his girlfriend once he was pulled over, or once they said that they were going to detain and arrest him. He called his girlfriend and said that he was going to call her back from jail. So that's not the sign of somebody suicidal to make a phone call and say, hey, I'm getting arrested. I'm going to call you when I get to the jail. Okay? But he committed suicide off of a weed charge. Now, I'm not saying there's not people out there that say, oh my God, I don't want to go to jail. I've got to commit suicide. I'm not saying that that doesn't exist. So I don't mean to downplay people's reaction to certain things that may lead them to suicide. I'm not saying that, but on this particular case, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Now, this is something that is a quote. I'm going to read a quote from the police chief in Jonesboro. He said, we've seen people in handcuffs do some remarkable things, smoke a cigarette, and even talk on the phone. He ain't smoked no cigarette and talk on no phone. I don't see anybody being able to do that with their hands cuffed, palms up behind their back. You're saying things that apply to people who probably have their hands cuffed in front of them. Miss me with the BS, buddy. I'm not buying it. So let's talk about this Chavis Carter shooting. It has been ruled a suicide. I don't believe that. If you want to know what I believe that young man was executed. That sounds like an execution. Now, they didn't say where the exit wound was and things like that. Those things haven't come out. So, I don't know if that's going to change the situation. But for me, I doubt it. You could come out with a video of that man shooting himself in the head and I wouldn't believe it. Because this just doesn't make sense. I know more odd things have happened, but this here doesn't make sense. So let's talk about it. Comments below. Send me a message if you're uncomfortable with people like jumping on you. Because I know if y'all saw the comments on my video about Chick-fil-A, somebody said I was going straight to hell because I wear makeup and jewelry. So if you are uncomfortable leaving your comments below, because I don't know if I'm going to get racial comments, I don't know if I'm going to get flat out ignorance, and I don't know if I'm going to get people who feel the same way that I feel in the comments. But you know what? The video is going up, so like it or love it, you have to deal with it. You can always unsubscribe. Remember, this thing is free. So let's talk about it. I want to know what you think. Yeah, so I love you guys. And again, with differences of opinion, I love you guys. So I want to hear what you think. You know, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. I just would like to hear your feedback. So, yeah, I'll talk to you later. Love you. Bye.